I'm recording this on a day where things have not been particularly good lately, or rather they were good for a while. Things were going great, and then very suddenly on Sunday night they were not good. So I need to get my feelings and emotions out, and the only way now to do that is by objectively ranking music for no reason other than to just, feel things. I came across this one for rock music genres the other day, and it's just been on my mind, like I should do something with it. And then this is the evening after what happened last night where I'm like, I need to sort this out in my mind. And I don't want it to just be like kind of a regular sort of tier list video or anything. No. I want to objectively rank, as in I want a number one best and a number one worst, or absolute worst, you know what I mean. So we're going to be putting all of them into tiers, obviously. But then also we're going to be kind of like numbering them from left to right. So left being the best, right being the worst. We are also graced today with the, let me just try and turn this around, bloody hell, the gracious presence of Nicki Minaj. The only flag that I salute is that one right there, alright? So here's our tier list. It's looking very lovely. This all is pretty straightforward on the side here. Good, not good. You get the picture. Start off with one that actually I'm very glad to be starting on, because two-tone is a genre that I absolutely love. I've grown up on two-tone for most of my life, to be honest. They may move up to an 80 if things get a little bit bitty later on, but we'll work that out. But for the moment, two-tone, just a solid, you can't really falter any two-tone bands or any kind of the ska movement bands from the UK in the late 70s and 1980s. Like, tell me something bad about them, like, honestly, put it in the comments. Good point, actually. Anything that you disagree with or think that should be changed, or that you don't agree with them, from in terms of my view, I want to hear it in the comments. I want to fight. Alternative metal is not one that I know too much about in the grand scheme of things, but the stuff that I have heard, I do enjoy. So I'm going to put it in the good, I think, because it's one of those where I know that it would be alright. If I got into it, I think I'd probably enjoy it. Art of punk, I'm going to assume, means art punk. And art punk, oh yes, art punk. Do we go 80 with art punk? Art punk is something that really means a lot to me, to be honest. I'm going to go with 80. I'm going to be bold and confident and go straight in. Art rock, 100%, same kind of energy once again. I'm going to put it next to art punk, actually. I don't think, once again, I've had a bad experience at all. Like, Kate Bush is one of my favourite artists, and she is the definition of art rock, to be honest. It's not an S tier yet, though, because... well, we'll get onto that, won't we? We'll get onto that. Blues rock, do you know what? It's a good to me. I don't have much affinity to it, to be honest. I've never really disliked any blues rock records, but it's not one that I go out my way to listen to. Boogie rock. What the fuck is boogie rock? I need to do some searching, right? ZZ Top, Canned Heat, Leonard Skinner's Status Quo. Status Quo are on this list here. Oh my. Where the fuck do we begin with classic rock? Like, I'm gonna just put it in the humps for a second while I just gather my thoughts, because classic rock is like, I don't really see it as a genre overall. I mean, we can debate what genre even really is. I'm treating it in this as kind of both the actual musical theory kind of side of things, and then also the movement that kind of goes around it. Classic rock, though, isn't really either of those, because it's really just the name that we give to all the kind of rock bands that are around from, I'm going to say, sort of the mid-60s onwards to probably the start of the 1980s, who have just managed to sort of break through whatever respective genre scene they were part of, and are now kind of gilded within the Hall of Fame of music. That's the thing, there are lots of classic rock artists that I like, and there's tons of stuff that if you played it to me, I'd be like, yeah, I like that, and it's classic rock. But it just makes me feel icky. Oh, I've had a bad experience, to be honest, in my life with classic rock, because I was really in this phase when I was kind of 14, 15, or sort of 16 as well, where I was just like, I will only listen to things that were released before 1990 or something, and it was just, I really shat on other people that liked other stuff, because I was like, oh, the Beatles, oh, the Who, oh, the Doors, Pink Floyd, and that's what I think of when I think of classic rock. I think of people in comment sections saying that I was born in the wrong generation, and I don't think it's that exciting in the grand scheme of things. There's lots of other stuff that I listen to, I'm like, this is getting my heart going, this is getting my mind moving, this is getting the blood pumping, and classic rock just doesn't really, it doesn't really hit that mark for me anymore. It's not a solid no because there's too much about it that I like, but it's going to be a humps for the time being. Emo is a lovely place to be honest. I kind of feel a bit bad putting emo behind blues rock just because emo is kind of a newer genre in the grand musical timeline compared to blues rock. But also, once again, it's another genre that I like that I don't like have much of a kind of an affinity to. So, you know, but there are lots of bands within the emo genre that I enjoy as well, and I'm never going to turn it off. Experimental rock though, that's tricky because there's some stuff that I enjoy and there's other stuff that I'm not sure about that I just think tries too hard, which is why I'm going to hover it very precariously around the decent section, just because why the fuck not? When I think of experimental rock music, I'm thinking kind of more towards art rock, which I think is often kind of more visionary, and it's driven by kind of something beyond just sort of like, let's have 3 guitars playing, you know, a 7/5 rhythm over here, which is not, obviously, I'm not trying to degrade anyone who's into experimental rock and say that it's all just pretentious overhyped shit, you know, but also, I'm struggling to disagree with myself, to be honest, on that one, so no. Folk rock, now, folk rock is a decent genre. I have a tricky relationship with folk as it is because it's not my thing, but I really respect everything that it does. Folk rock though, I think, it kind of comes under the classic rock moniker in some places, and I don't think I'm that particularly comfortable with that. I just see people saying, oh, the lyrics of this folk rock song are so much better than, like, you know, Nicki Minaj or something. Salute the Queen, alright? Like anyone who makes comments about like the quality of lyricism based on how old a song is versus new stuff or whatever is talking complete shit, and I don't engage with that. But also, it's just decent at the end of the day. Funk metal now, and funk rock again as well. These so funk metal and funk rock, I'm actually going to talk them together because they're like the two genres where I'm not like the good tier is quickly becoming the one that I'm not that strongly involved with, but I enjoy. And I think those two they're like, I don't really feel like funk metal and funk rock are two genres that have genuinely like changed the world or anything. But they come from artists who are really keen to experiment a little bit, bring two things they love together, and the key thing in there is the funk, because funk is what gives it kind of sexiness, suaveness, a bit of rhythm, a bit of movement, you know. So they're going to be staying in the good tier. Garage rock is a very good genre, as in it's a great genre. Garage rock gives us a lot of kind of sort of the ingredients for punk. I know there's a few proto-punk bands you would probably consider under garage rock. It was very kind of homegrown, very, very dirty, gritty, poor production, you know, and it had all of that kind of going for it in the 60s and 70s. And then when it was revived at the start of the 2000s and sort of all the way through to the 2010s, especially in the UK, with a certain band who I rather like, and who also divide opinion in some cases, so even better. It's always been very solid, to be honest. Glam metal. I do not like the energy it gives off. I find glam rock, which was the precursor to glam metal, because it gave it its name, you know, had a certain queer edge to it and a certain gender-bending edge to it, which I fucking love. And I see glam metal as just taking all that out because we don't want any of that gay shit in there, do we? You know? And I don't like that. I would really like someone to name me a good glam metal record. Any album that you could actually sit down and listen to without skipping. And I'm not someone that skips through albums ever. It's gonna be our first Hinius of the day. Yeah. Our first catch of the day. Oh, here we go. Straight one after the other. I'm gonna just watch this sail past because glam rock is fucking brilliant. Let's just be clear. It has the flamboyance and the grandiose nature of a lot of rock in the 70s, but has sort of the compact nature that would go on to help it inspire punk music later on, and it was delivered through some just truly wonderful, brilliant people, you know, artists who were just so good at expressing themselves, who captured a certain mood at the time in a way that other music didn't. And I'm not just talking about David Bowie, because I think he's definitely like the pinnacle of glam rock in my mind. Like, I don't think there's a bad T-Rex record, full stop. What a fucking... Oh, Mark Bolan, man, just... What can I say? It's an A-tier genre. Gothic rock. It's a great for me. Ooh, actually, does it... Ooh, actually... No, it doesn't go above those two. It's a third place in the great tier though, right? At the moment, at least. Because a lot of gothic rock spawned from kind of cold wave, no wave, and post-punk. There's a reason, like, you know, why it's so lauded by people who really enjoy kind of the aesthetic side of music, because I think it takes all those genres that I just mentioned and gives them a new sort of new life, a new bit of colour, painted them black but with a bit of detail, you know what I mean? Oh daddy, oh mother fucking god, here we are. Here we are. You about to watch this? You ready? You ready? I'm going to try and scroll. I can't scroll. My trackpad doesn't let me do it at the same time. We'll have to let it climb up very, very slowly. Look at this. Past classic rock, past folk rock, past emo, past gothic rock, past pop punk. Oh, there it goes. Straight to the S tier. There will be no arguing with grunge's placing within S tier. Grunge is one of those beautiful moments where two things just come together in the best way possible. It's punk and it's metal, and it works. It works so well, and you know that it works so well. Some of the best artists of all time have come from grunge. Alice in Chains, Mudhoney, Soundgarden, Nirvana, like Pearl Jam as well. What the fuck am I saying? Hence why it's there. It's another one of those genres that I grew up with, and now I really like. I just feel so much about it that I don't enjoy. Hard rock. It's just, it's hard to love. These two are so similar. That's the thing. Does it go one above though? I think it does. I think it has to be a decent. I think it's better than these, to be honest. In the context of today, with all the music that's come since, I don't think it's very imaginative, and I don't think it's particularly revolutionary. Only because, obviously, we're no longer living in the time when it came out, and so on, but in kind of the same way that classic rock doesn't really have any kind of boundary to what it is, hard rock suffers because I don't think it really had a particular kind of definition to it. The thing is, what's really weird here, right, is that, you could put some records from like the Rolling Stones in blues rock, you could also put them in hard rock, definitely, and for me, the Stones are an S-tier band. But the thing is, the overall genre just isn't enough, for one band to carry that. I can't put it any higher. It just makes me icky. I don't want to be in the room with it, you know what I mean? Hardcore punk and other junk. I think I'm gonna assume that is hardcore punk, and hardcore punk is a good genre. Ooh, above garage rock? I'm gonna put it there. I'm going for the second place for great. It's very intense, and it runs out of energy quite quickly because the nature of the music is just that it's very, very short-lived and intense. And for that reason, I don't think it's ever quite had any sort of songs or albums that really give it the energy to be an A tier or S tier genre. But there is just so much to enjoy from it. Bands like Minor Threat and Husker Du are just fucking brilliant. Oh, fucking fantastic. I do like Heartland Rock, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. I don't think it goes above a good. I think it's probably above emo. I'm actually going to do a little bit of shifting here, actually. I'm going to put alternative metal down quite a way, because I don't know it enough. I think that's happy, yeah. Blues rock in first, and then Heartland Rock in second. Really not much to say about heavy metal, because it's a good genre. Do you know what? I think it'd be rude to not put it in number one of good. There's no point discussing with indie pop and indie rock, actually. Let's do these together, because, indie pop is a bit more. I think you know what? I think indie pop actually deserves to be ranked quite highly. I do like quite a lot of it. Indie rock, on the other hand, that's definitely high. That's an A tier. Maybe do we put it above art rock? Let's put it this way: indie pop really is a subgenre of indie rock in the grand scheme of things, and indie pop for me hasn't quite some of it's a little bit too commercialized for its own good, for it to be really, really enjoyable. But I don't turn it off either, and there are lots of any kind of alternative indie club nights that you go to. That's what they play. Anything with a popular sound to it for sure is there. Indie rock though is the broader, more affirmative kind of genre as a whole. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. There's just so much that I love. Not S tier though, just a bit too much baggage. Now we are talking. Industrial is cracking. No, industrial is fucking A tier. Unquestionably. There's something about just being able to condense and convey intensity in music without it going too off the rails that it's unlistenable, and without it just being too much of a raucous noise that it doesn't make any sense. Industrial straddles that line by having kind of the cleanness and the digital aspect of electronic stuff with all of the rage that came from the heavier rock genres that kind of came before it. That makes it an A-tier genre in me, because when I need to just let shit out, that's a good one to go to. Krautrock is wonderful. Krautrock is fucking fantastic. Not a bad word to say once again, so I like Mersey Beat, but also it's just alright. I think it's just one of those genres that's just so old that it's very hard to really get a hold in me. It's going to stay there for the time being. Right, we're halfway through, guys. We're doing well. I hope you're enjoying at home, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. Oh, mother. Oh, sweet Mary. It's another one. It's another one that's going to go a long, long way up. And it's going to go there. New wave, baby. Oh, God, yes. There is not a single new wave artist that I don't like. Like, there is not one. It was the cousin of post-punk. It produced some of my favourite artists, my favourite albums of all time. It just takes all of these gorgeous elements that I love. Nice metallic kind of staccato guitars with synths and drum machines and just the aesthetic of it as well. I love it so much. Like, oh, S tier for sure. Now, no wave is another fucking brilliant genre. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great tier. It's gonna go next to krautrock. I'm gonna consider this a very, very, very close second and third place. Yeah, noise rock is a fucking fantastic genre. It's gonna be third place for noise rock. Noise rock is just everything that I want, to be honest, from a lot of music. I really like to just escape into sort of hazy, drudgy guitars and lyrics about drugs and New York and shit like that. And I'm basically describing Sonic Youth, to be honest. Experiment whatever noise you can turn, get out of the guitar. That's kind of what noise rock is to me. And it really helps me feel and put my thoughts together. Haziness is good. Oh, here's a big one. Bloody hell. Pop punk. Oh my God. Overall, it's a good genre. I don't know if I want to go into all the reasons why it has to be a good genre and nothing more. There's just a lot of stuff that I like, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't like. And the stuff that I like is up here, and the stuff that I don't like is down here. And hence we have to find a middle ground. The argument around pop punk is one that goes on for a very long time the moment you start having it, and I don't have time in my life to keep doing it every time it's mentioned. I love Blink-182, I love Paramore, don't really like Sum 41. Green Day I enjoy, but it does just go downhill after a while. Fall Out Boy I really tried with, but like, some of their later records, fuck me, like, it's just too much to go into. It's too big an issue. Post-grunge is another genre where it's good. We're gonna put it with the good section. Really, for me, it kind of just, a lot of it bleeds into kind of 90s hardcore and kind of the more aggressive alternative rock. I don't think there was enough of a movement for it to be kind of any higher, but once again, I enjoy bands from it, I enjoy music from it. Pop rock, fucking hell. Pop rock is a straight away, because do you know what this is? This is just industry. This is Maroon 5. This is late stage Coldplay. This is just music that, it's Radio 2. It's not very good. Here we are. Once again, another one just going straight to the top, up next to its brother. I think I'm going to have to be bold with this and just put post-punk at the top, because post-punk is what I listen to now. Post-punk is a genre that has given, it has served every single year of its existence. It's next to New Wave because they are very similar, but New Wave is the one that died out. We have to be brutal about this stuff, it's an objective ranking, remember. Post-punk is the better one overall. Post-rock is going to be higher than these. These ones I kind of feel more for. This one I still really, really enjoy. Post-rock is a wonderful, wonderful genre because it has given us so many different interpretations, and it's one that's still going on. I like that it's a genre that kind of implies the end of rock, and it's the end of something, and it's kind of been marked at multiple points throughout. It's been around for what, sort of kind of 30 years, give or take. The oldest kind of post-rock record that I really know is kind of Talk, Garden of Eden, that kind of stuff. But it's also kind of been reinvented again with stuff like public service broadcasting, for instance, definitely come into that. Oh, prog rock, baby. It's difficult, prog rock. It's a great genre. Well, that's the thing. It's a great genre. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. Genesis are shit. I despise Genesis, they are fucking awful. They are an unbearable band. Rest of prog rock, though. Mother of God. Prog rock has the weight of Genesis bring it down. However, King Crimson. Pink fucking Floyd, yes. The band, yes, that is. Young adults on acid, just playing guitars and fucking smoking shit, and that is, the stuff they come up with, like, fuck me. Psychedelic rock. What a happy coincidence to have all these genres that I love so much right next to each other. Psychedelic rock is fantastic. It's my favourite genre from the 60s by far. Janis Joplin, and of course Big Brother and the Holding Company, The Doors, Jefferson Airplane, all the Beatles, kind of more psychedelic acidy sort of stuff. Whenever I think of the hippie counterculture, that's really what I think of. They just pair together so fantastically. I want to just give a bit of a shout out in particular to Janis Joplin, one of my heroes, and Big Brother and the Holding Company. So many just incredible bits of music that they wrote together. Is it an A-tier genre? I really fucking love it, to be honest. That's what you get. That's what you get, right? Punk doesn't really need much of a discussion, to be honest. Punk is just up here, and that's an end of it. There is something we have to discuss kind of here. What's the difference between punk and post-punk? Punk is, for me, in terms of music, it's kind of the stuff from the big first wave in the 70s in the UK and the US. After that point, it's then all the subgenres that came after it. So both post-punk, like Riot Girl, the influence it had on the garage rock revival, stuff like that. Obviously pop punk comes under that as well. Hardcore punk, they all come under that. So what I'm ranking in the S tier with that punk ranking there is the entire kind of moniker, the entire kind of vibe of it, and it is one that I have subscribed to from the moment I first started listening to it. To rank it anything less would be a disgrace, to be quite frank. It means so much to me, and it speaks to me. It has always spoken to me. I think everyone can agree that just having punk in our lives as an idea is a good thing. Right, we're getting through to the final few. Now, we haven't really done much down this end recently, because actually most of the stuff actually has been pretty easy to work out. I do enjoy most of it. However, rap metal is shit. It sends me. I think it's going to be a solid no. Let's put it this way, Rage Against the Machine are a fucking fantastic band. They kind of embody elements of this. They as a band are high up, but as an overall genre, it's not happening. Is that the image they chose for rap rock? Because once again, it's dreadful. There's really only been one band that's pulled it off, and that's Rage Against the Machine. And the rest of it is unbearable. It feels like it's taking the piss out of hip-hop. Is rock and roll a great genre? Rock and roll gives us a lot of good stuff, and I think it probably is up there, to be honest. But it's on the end there because I just can't say enough about it to justify going any higher. That's really there because I just know that I like it, rather than some of these other genres where I can really name artists that I absolutely love. Chuck Berry's up there, obviously. Buddy Holly's up there. I'd put Elvis Presley, that's another one that gives it that ranking. Beyond that, it's there precariously. I've been waiting for this one. I don't need to justify anything. I don't have to make a video. I could just cut it right there. Oh, do we? Do we go one more? No. We have to be honest and say that there are more post-punk artists that I like. But to suggest for even a second that second place ranking of shoegaze is some kind of step down, or some kind of, that there's something genuinely lower about it. It's there threatening post-punk. It's there watching it like, I got your space soon if you're not careful. If Idols, for instance, turn around and suddenly say they're voting Tory, that shoegaze is fucking going up there. Soft rock. What do we say about soft rock? Soft rock it's a good genre. There's a lot of soft rock that I like. Is it a great genre though? It kind of feel like it needs to be, because there's a lot of artists from it that I absolutely love. Particularly Lou Reed's soft rock era, and particularly Fleetwood Mac. But the thing is, I don't know if any of them, by its very nature, are trying to do anything more, because soft rock is soft, it's comfy, it's nice. It doesn't dare as much as these ones above, which is why it's a good genre. It drives me up the fucking wall. I can't fucking stand it. Stoner rock is cool. I don't know if it's above a good though. What stands out about it? That's what I want you to answer. What stands out about stoner rock? That the whole vibe of stoner rock is fantastic, but I think in by its very nature, once again, the same curse as soft rock, it's too soft to try and do anything more. So that's why it stays in the good. Good is a nice place to be, but it's also a curse. Sound of Surf. Surf is alright. I don't know if it's decent. I think it might be decent, to be honest. I'm going to put it pretty high up. I think it's above hard rock, to be honest. I don't really feel like it ever innovated. Ever. I've never listened to a surf rock song that I could really distinguish from another. Symphonic Metal. Now, this is actually one where I can, sneak in a little bit of a little thing and actually say that this is a good genre. Just the idea of it is so cool. As if, like, you know, metal couldn't be any more dramatic and insane. Let's have a fucking symphony in there as well. Let's have choirs. Let's have everything. It's just so balls to the wall and yet so controlled as well. And symphonic rock, I'm gonna just consider that under the metal. I know that there are genuine differences, but for me, I see them as quite similar. So I don't want to, you know, take up too many on there. Thrash metal, yeah, thrash metal we like. Yeah, I think it's gonna go in the good section just because maybe above. Yes, next to symphonic metal. You know, these are two forms of metal that I think really take the core of metal and push it further and make it a bit more fun, a bit more free-flowing. And I think that's really going to be it to us, because the rest of these I just don't know enough about. So this is our final ranking for every single rock genre, apart from the many that I have excluded and missed out. We have to quite concretely say, therefore, that glam metal is the most heinous rock genre that has ever existed, and southern rock is just behind it. You know, that's a disciplinary right there to try and work out which is truly the worst. Fuck boogie rock, what a load of shit. Classic rock, you know, it's there, isn't it? Pop rock, as we quite explained, is just it's like Coke from a tap. You know, those bar taps. It's tasteless. Obviously, the comfy, cozy place, you know, this is sort of the, you know, it's kind of the great barrier. Anything above this is genres that I think have really tried to do something more than that. Very happy, I think, overall with two-tone being there and prog. I'm not really making any changes to this, to be honest. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Two-tone is up here because it means a lot to me. It's given me a lot to feel kind of personal and attached to, and I think it's done more than these do. A tier, I mean, look at this. It's just a Hall of Fame, really. Here. Industrial, fucking fantastic. Psychedelic, I'm definitely happy with that being there. Art punk, yeah, not a question about that. Noise rock is just half my life, to be honest. Art rock is also the other half of my life, and indie rock is everything in between. So yeah. And then the S tier, I could argue a lot, really, for days to us about where these really all ought to be. New wave, once again, are just so much talent, like so much innovation, so many sounds that are just so fucking cool, like God. And shoegaze, all the things that I've ever said about shoegaze albums, all the things I've ever written about shoegaze artists, you know, it all really boils down to something quite simple, and that is that they make you feel things that music should not be allowed to make you feel. And then post-punk is just the genre for me. I've loved it for the longest time. There's a few things I want to kind of say. Indie rock is obviously a huge genre in itself, and there's lots of subcultures that I think would probably get different rankings if I split them up a bit. You know, as a whole though, and you put this all together, for all the ups and downs that each of those genres individually have, indie rock is a positive movement. I think that's going to be it, guys. That's enough arguing for the day. I think I've got my feelings and my thoughts out, you know. I've been able to exhume what I need to and just find some inner peace by shouting at a computer screen for 40 minutes. If you've got any kind of suggestions for stuff that you want to see me go through and have my thoughts out on, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear, actually. I'm quite keen to do one on pop music, I think, because there are thoughts to be had on that. But anyway, take care wherever you are. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.